Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with fabulous concert programs, number 128, the sixth in our Pettersson Symphony Cycle. Now, Alan Pettersson's Symphony No. 7, which is what features here on the first half of the program, was the symphony that got the Pettersson revival going. It is in many respects the easiest of all of his symphonies to listen to because its thematic material is quite simple, distinctive, and often extremely beautiful. The main motive is simply a minor chord for trombones that's just going pwom, 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 like that. 5 notes repeated. It's so simple, but the way he uses it is really fascinating. I mean, you know you're dealing with a compositional genius when they can take extremely simple ideas and use them in a totally fresh way. Now, this little trombone motive is repeated about 40 billion times, both in the trombones, loud, soft, and different orchestral parts, during climaxes with other stuff on top of it. And you're always conscious of it, but it never gets tiresome. It's really kind of incredible how much mileage he gets out of this little thing. And then there's extremely lovely lyrical contrasting music, sometimes with that motive in the bottom or somewhere around it. So you hear it. And there's one point of the symphony where it seems like it's all ending peacefully. And you just think, oh, that's it. Isn't that lovely? And then it starts up again and it gets rather ferocious for like the last 15 minutes or so. The whole work is about 42 to 45 minutes long. It's not crazy. It's not excessive. It just happens to be in one continuous thing. Although there are sort of pauses, like I said, there's that one break in the middle and some other things along the way. But it really is a gorgeous piece of music. And it really sort of freaks me out. Scares me, doesn't it? Freaks me out that people look at this music as being completely depressing and miserable and full of angst and whatnot. Well, some of it is. It has its moments. It really does. But on the whole, it's really a very original and remarkable piece of music. And there's no reason that people shouldn't enjoy it, I think. It just needs to be by itself on the first half of a program so that people can take it in with fresh ears and they're not already blunted by other things. And so then we have intermission. And after intermission, normally I've been choosing lighter things or zippier things or things like that. But here I make an exception because I think there's a work that goes particularly well with Pettersson's Seventh, and that's Mahler's Das Lied von der Erde. Now, Pettersson is often compared to Mahler because, like Mahler, his music is supposed to be expressive mostly of like despair and misery and all that stuff, but neither composer can be categorized in such a facile way. And certainly not Das Lied von der Erde. Good heavens, no. Yes, that long farewell is extremely dark in places, but it's also evanescent and transfiguring. And the end is one of the most hauntingly beautiful pieces in the entire repertoire. It really is. And you've got, they're all songs. It's 6 songs. You've got 2 soloists. You have a text. It's actually a wonderful contrast to the Pettersson because while it expresses some similar emotions, this contrast between the bitterness of life and the frailty of beauty and happiness, it does it in a completely different way. It does it by having people sing about it with words. And so as a contrast to the Pettersson, it works perfectly because it's a totally different kind of music. It's also, unbelievably beautiful. And I think that, as we all know that, right? And I think that there will be an audience for it. I keep saying that, even though there's never going to be an audience for these particular concerts. It also, believe it or not, gives the orchestra a bit of a break because after the Pettersson, the orchestra is doing mostly accompanying. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't wonderful solos for the winds and all those people, and it's not easy music. It takes a great deal of concentration, of course. Das Lied von der Erde does. But it's not going to exhaust the players in the way that, a big, long Pettersson symphony does. So after intermission, the audience should be revved up and the orchestra should be fresh, and you have performances with, just amazing singers, and you're going to have an absolutely lovely pairing of major works that manage to cover some of the same emotional ground without becoming tiresome or monotonous or excessive or anything like that. They're two wonderfully complementary works, and I think that the program will work really well. I mean, I've done it. I've tried it myself, and I find that it works very well. And I hope you'll give it a shot at home, and you'll agree with me. But you'll enjoy the Seventh. If you don't know it, it's the place to start with Pettersson symphonies. It really is. And I think a lot of people have heard it. I played it for friends of mine, and they've known of Pettersson's reputation, and then they wonder what all the fuss was about. It's not that it's not a great work, or it's not a deep work, or it's not a powerful work, an expressive work, but it's not a dismal work. It's not miserable. It's not unpleasant. It's really yes, it takes concentration, and it takes, some serious listening, but, so does everything that's worth listening to, whether it's lighthearted or not. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, and enjoy this program. Take care.